So let's start and see how it goes.
Maybe he's trolling.
Well,
Well, Timo certainly is.
our producer certainly is. Live show with Timo broke everything. I do not know what he did, but something broke here badly. So let's try this again. Yeah. How about this happens when you have a when you have a live production with recorded games. Something like this might happen sometimes. So now everything should be ready.
Yeah.
And we got a Warlock versus Druid. Finally, it's working. Buksna with the Druid. And he has a Black Knight versus a Handlock. So Black Knight already has great value for him if he gets it done. Wow, and he has a big Game Hunter in his starting hand. Plus a Keeper of the Grove versus Tanakh. And, well, there's a Mountain Giant for the Handlock. But as we said, his deck has just every answer he needs in the early game to deal with what Tanakh could do.
Especially the big game hunter is really, really strong.
It's just a perfect counter. And not only that, you also have turn 3, your Harvest Golem. So if there is a Twilight Drake incoming, you just silence it and run your Harvest Golem in. This is just super perfect for Buksna.
Double Mortal Coil for Tanakh. Could have hoped for a better draw.
Well, those Mortal Coils are at least cards you can Soulfire away. So that's a good thing, I would say. But still, it's really not what you want to have in your starting hand against a Druid. When are you going to use your double Mortal Coils? Not really soon. And now the Giant goes away. That big Game Hunter has so much value. And Tanakh, well, there's a Hellfire.
Yeah,
Plus
I think we're going to
Coil.
see Hellfire.
Could be the move that makes the most sense here. If he goes, if he nukes those, he could just Shadow Bolt if he wants to. But that would be so wasty since he can kill 2 minions with one spell. And losing HP is no problem for him. It's just good. He's happy about it.
Yeah, as soon as he gets the Molten Giants, of course, losing HP is valuable.
Well, spell damage is a good thing. If you have your swipes with a Raz, that's not so useful. And Tanakh gets an Ancient Watcher plus Shadow Flame and also his Twilight Drake here. Oh, this is good. But as we know,
he lost the Watcher.
he lost the Watcher, so no Watcher Shadow Flame anymore. And we know for Buksna, there's a Keeper of the Grove just waiting to go crazy.
And that is a game that has problems, right?
No, there are no problems. They're just futures. That minion gets silenced and killed away. That's a good thing.
Not really surprising.
I might have considered just attacking as Buksna here, keeping my Raz. So, but Buksna has a good hand. He quite has some cards already. He didn't need to use the Raz here. He already has a pretty potent hand. So, maybe it was unnecessary, but it's still okay for him, I would say. Shadow Bolt is going to kill. And there's now that 4 or 5 minion on the board, but he cannot silence it and cannot taunt it up.
But he has a Shadow Flame on his hand, so that's good.
He has a Shadow Flame on his hand, another Soulfire, another Shadow Bolt. So he plays the version with Shadow Bolt. This is not an older version. This is just an okay version too. Especially if you have those Shadow Bolts plus Mortal Coil against Ancient of Lore now. This is just perfect. Or this is that now you want to put down your Mountain Giant.
But you can't.
Soulfire and then Mortal Coil, for example. But it's so risky that you Soulfire away.
You don't want to lose your Siphon Soul or your Shadow Flame or, yeah, of course, the Faceless Manipulator.
Well, you don't want to, but you do. And then you draw at least a card and he can life tap again. But he's down to 15. He needs to look out for Force of Nature Roar. And not only that, we see there's an Argent Commander already. There's Keeper of the Grove, Druid of the Claw in the hand. And if you ask yourself, why do you not see Buksna's hand? Well, Buksna's recording is a bit stuttery. So actually his screen just freezes. And you might see his hand cards, but not what is happening on the board. But we can tell you there are 2 Yetis incoming. And he's going to innervate out his Sunfury Protector. And that's just a really awesome board for him. Annoying thing, as we know, Defender of Argus plus Shadow Flame on your Ancient Watcher.
Will clear the entire board.
This hurts so much. This is just crazy. And that's a smart move. If he's not taunting up his golem,
No Black Knight.
no Black Knight. So some might be confused now why he didn't Argus him up, but we saw a Black Knight for Buksna already, and if that Black Knight would be incoming, it hurts a lot.
He's down to 19 HP.
Buksna says, well played. Maybe he has no answers for it. We still know there's a Druid of the Claw in his hand, plus a swipe, so he has the potential to deal 8 damage out of nowhere, and his enemy is down to 15, so he just needs to bring him down further and further, especially we know TanakhT has no taunt. If Buksna decides to just charge in his face, that's good for him. I guess he really wants to have a second big game hunter. He already used one. We saw some druids actually having 2 big game hunters.
A couple of druids run double big game hunter, but if you're then up against a shaman, for example, where there's nothing really to big game hunter apart from a fire elemental in combination with a flame tongue totem, it puts you behind. Like this, if you just run one big game hunter, it's more versatile.
That's correct. Sometimes against special decks, it's just, well, not useful at all. And there you saw what's the problem. That screen is just not moving anymore. And he gets a 5/3 Argent Commander to bring him down to 10. Well, the annoying wow, double Molten Giant. Not only double Molten Giant, there is additionally a Siphon Soul. So he could have silenced, but that's even better. So double Molten Giant plus Siphon Soul plus a Shadow Bolt if he wanted to clear the minion.
He needs to heal himself up. Doesn't want to get into the range of Force of Nature Raw, of course.
Force of Nature Roar would be devastating here for TanakhT. And we know in Buksna's hand there is Swipe, Swipe, Ancient of Lore, and a Druid of the Claw. And this is, well...
It's not enough.
Oh, he can swipe away the Mountain Giant. He can even swipe away. He can swipe away every giant. He also has a Force of Nature in his hand. So that's a pretty strong hand for Buksna here.
Well, it's over.
But it's over. So even if he swipes a giant, there is still 16 damage on the board in giant form, +2, +3. So that's 21 damage at the moment for TanakhT here, if you consider one giant is going to die. We can also swipe plus Force of Nature. That clears even more minions. So not only the giant, it also clears to the left and the right one. So it's only 16 damage on the board. That was a rather smart move from him. Now, only 16 damage. He's going to survive.
Maybe.
Or maybe.
Life tap first. Why doesn't he life tap first?
If he gets a Soulfire, if he gets...
A Defender.
Defender, if he gets... Well, Defender not anymore since he attacked. But there are some cards to be drawn. Well, he goes the safe way. He doesn't need to. He's on 15. And if your enemy had a Force of Nature and Roar, even without your Tauntus, he's down to 1. What can he do? So, if he had the perfect hand, even with a Force... He used the Force of Nature, but... Yeah, he didn't have anything. Can do what he needs to do.
Oh, what? No, that cannot be right.
And that cannot be right. That was a wrong file by me.
Nope.
And that's
okay.
Everything is working now.
Nope, not for me.
Not for you. You have to take file 12.
No, it's
now we get everything.
Nice.
Go, we can start. There's a Paladin and a Shaman.
There's a Paladin!
For Buksna. So you try to flame my ears off. That's okay.
How can you not be hyped? It's the first Paladin.
It's the first Paladin, and we're going to see him maybe going strong or not. It's possible. It's a Rush Paladin, and that's funny to see. Haven't seen one in a really long time.
Actually, they're coming up in the ladder.
And TanakhT, well, he's keeping the Hellfire. That's a good thing. If he dropped it, it would hurt him a lot. And Worgen Infiltrator plus Leper Gnome is just the start you want to have. That's some really good minions early, plus the Divine Favor. So he's playing against a Handlock. And what is a Handlock going to do? Just draw cards. I mean, if he plays a Divine Favor turn 3, look at this. Double Leper Gnome coming for Buksna. If there is a Divine Favor incoming, ow, he's just going to draw so many cards. Even now.
The value is incredible.
Yeah, and if TanakhT plays... Well, he can Mortal Coil one minion, but if he plays Hellfire, he just he just gets 4 damage, 7 damage total from the Hellfire because of those 2 Leper Gnomes. And even that one Mortal Coil. Oh, second Hellfire. That's good. Still, there's already 4 damage. There's 6 damage on the board with the Death Rattle plus an Arcane Golem. Well,
He has to play Divine Favor now.
Yeah, he should play Divine Favor, but not the Arcane Golem. That would be crazy. Just bring him into Hellfire range even further. And he draws, if I'm not mistaken, he will draw 5 cards total. And another Divine Favor. Plus, so he has 2 Hammers of Wrath. That's 6 damage. Plus a Consecrate. That's 8 damage just roaming around. And there's a Twilight Drake incoming, but, well, 4/7. He can just attack with everything he has here. Even if he drops a Arcane Golem, that would be plus 6 damage. So he can deal 10 damage now, bring him down to 2 HP. 12 HP. So I wanted to say 2, but that's totally wrong.
Oh. Doesn't want to bring him down too low because he knows there is a potential for Molten Giants. And as we can see, Tanak has 2 Molten Giants on his hand.
Well, if he Hellfires here, he has 1 HP left, and he can drop 1 Molten Giant, but... Oh, he can drop 2 Molten Giants. I was just forgetting the Leper Gnome, but he's down to 9. And we know there's a Hammer of Wrath, there's another Arcane Golem. So he can deal 6 damage now, plus a Hammer of Wrath next turn to win the game.
But he would lose.
No, there
would be a draw.
There is 6. There's 16, 20, 23 damage at the moment. So quite a lot of damage for Tanak. What is Buksna going to do? We might see a True Silver just bring him down to 5.
Well,
but then he
and if there is a taunt, and we know there's going to be a taunt, he loses.
He goes for Arcane Golem plus Abusive Sergeant. That's the 6 damage he wants to deal.
Yep.
Well, that's the only thing he can do here, I would say. Just brings him down to 3. The thing is...
Siphon Soul.
Yeah, he could Siphon Soul now, but if he Siphon Souls, he cannot taunt up. So, that's risky.
But he needs HP.
Yeah, he needs the HP, that's correct.
He knows there could be a Hammer of Wrath.
There could be Hammer of Wrath, there could be Leroy. They're just
well, against the taunts, it's fine, but...
Yeah, but if he taunts up now, and as now he's not able to kill him. he says well played since he's... Or did he miscount by 1? Or is he just so sure to not lose? He just said well played. So I was pretty sure he thought he has enough damage to kill him. But it's only 22 damage, not 23. And Buksna is actually going to win with 1 Hammer of Wrath in the end. So he could have gone for the Hellfire move and just go for a draw, as you said. Oh, in the end he loses.
I would go Warrior.
Warrior has a good thing. Those whirlwinds. If he plays a Pyromancer, Cleave, Krukon Elite. So there are so many cards he can have to deal with what Buksna might throw in his face. Let's start the game, see what is there for Tanak. And it is a Warrior with a Spellbreaker. And that Spellbreaker can actually be useful if you throw it on, well, Leper Gnomes to just diminish those 2 damage.
And he gets a Grommash. That's a dead card, especially if you're the first player. Buksna, for the 2nd time in a row, he gets a coin.
And that's super good for him. I mean, he can Worgen Infiltrator, coin, Argent Squire, and he's already down to 3 cards, and he just needs to play his Divine Favor next turn, though that could have been a possible play if he wants to drop everything.
Might have been afraid of the Whirlwind.
Yeah, that's possible. It would hurt. Wow, now, additionally, there is a Blessing of Might. So he could go Argent Squire plus Trap. Secret, not Trap.
Yep.
And coin out Blessing of Might. Just do those 5 damage. It would be ballsy, but Tanak would need to use his Slam or Shield Slam actually to get rid of the Blessing of Might. And the only good thing using Blessing of Might now is next turn, you can play your Divine Favor for bigger value. So you would have lost 2 more cards, and then Divine Favor.
He can regardless.
He can regardless, since he has the coin for that move. Wow, Abusive Sergeant is a perfect top deck. If he's not afraid if he's not afraid of a
Whirlwind.
yep, he could have just traded away the Acolyte of Pain. Now he cannot anymore, but he can just draw 3 cards for free, gets another Noble Sacrifice. Well, equality. This is kind of sad for him. So look at his hand cards. Only 1 minion, and the rest is reactive cards and not cards to act. And as a aggro paladin, you want to have all your rushy stuff, and so to just bring your enemy down easy mode. This is so annoying. he can attack now, but that Noble Sacrifice is gonna save the minion, and he cannot kill it. If he's drawing a Whirlwind now, that's super valuable, but well,
That would be ridiculously lucky though.
Taskmaster, for example, too. But he gets an Izera, and that's 6 damage on the board again. He's going to take this turn.
Alex, Innocent, Grommash, wow, Gorehole, Isera. The draw for Tanakh is awful.
That's correct. And we see there's a Leroy in Buksna's hand by now, and he still has his Abusive Sergeant we were talking about. And Tanakh has so much, well, bad luck. He just needs 1 frigging Whirlwind. Even a Cleave would be good. And that stupid Noble Sacrifice is just protecting the 4/1 Argent Squire. Well, he can Shield Slam it away. He gets so unlucky. So Ragnaros, all the big cards, but he needs, if there's just a Whirlwind, and it would have so much value by now. Oh, that hurts. But in this situation, he could brawl.
Yeah, he should.
But he goes so unlucky. I just saw it, guys. If you don't know how it works, the last minion entering the brawl is the minion surviving, and it's that frigging 4/1 Argent Squire that survives.
That's rough.
That's rough. That's
He's
just
gonna use the Consec, drop him down. Maybe. Yeah, looks like it.
That's just tears rushing down your face. And the thing is, not only is it Consecrate, he has an Avenging Wrath, so that's 8 damage next turn. Since there's at the moment there's no minion coming.
And now he gets a Whirlwind real.
That hurts so much. He's down to 14, and there could be an Avenging Wrath, for example. Now
That's at least 6 damage.
at least 6 damage, and there's a Leroy in his hand. So. And an Arcane Golem, so 6 damage now, and next turn is 10 damage. Yeah, he's down to 8. If there's no shield blocking coming,
It's over.
yeah, it's over. So is a paladin going to win? That Whirlwind was so late, and you must be raging as a control warrior. You got 2 Whirlwinds, you got 2 Taskmasters, well, he had a Slam, he had a Shield Slam. That brawl went so unlucky. So the whole game is just so stupid for Tanakh. And Buksna wins here again with his aggro paladin. But we have to admit, that was a really unlucky draw for Tanakh here.
We actually see a paladin winning 2 games in a row.
Well, that's not